Recently, while going over my newest TF2 videos and the footage that's included in those videos, I've noticed that in most of my time playing TF2, I barely use damage-dealing secondary weapons. Now, don't get me wrong, secondary weapons that deal damage are absolutely fantastic, but I just don't seem to use them often. The weapons I'm specifically talking about are the shotguns used by Soldier and Heavy, along with the pistol for NG and Scout. Pyro uses the shotgun as a secondary weapon too, but Pyro, in my opinion, almost completely combo-based class, and the flare gun exists, so yeah. But when I'm playing a class like Soldier, I never really use the shotgun, the panic attack, or the reserve shooter. My latest frag video says otherwise, but making it made me realize how little I use them. So I set out to figure out why this is, and I quickly found out why. When I use a utility secondary, for instance the battalion's backup, Soldier is given a boost to his maximum health. That exact boost is 20 HP. When accumulating 600 damage with either your melee or primary weapon, you can deploy it and activate the banner for an immunity to critical hits, granting you 35% resistance to regular damage, and a 50% resistance to sentry damage for 10 seconds. This is huge for the Soldier, and for his team. Great for holding, and great for pushing highly contested areas filled with spam and sentry guns, for example, the entirety of Dust Bowl. Or just to ruin the day of a Crit's Pocket Med, or a Flog Pyro. With Scout, I tend to use the Mad Milk or Bonk Atomic Punch for the reasons of not distracting me from the primary weapon, and as utility tools. I tend not to use damage-dealing secondaries, as I see the primary as superior in every way, damage-wise, and in the sense of utility. Yeah, no shock. Thanks, Sherlock. That's exactly the point of a secondary weapon. And I realize this, and it's not a good reason to not use a secondary. Like, the reason of, oh, well, the primary's better than the secondary is not a good reason. The whole point of a secondary is to help and support your longevity while in combat, alongside the primary, rather than replace it. However, I can't wrap my tiny little chicken brain around that fact. I tend to use a secondary on a class like Soldier a bit too much and start engaging my enemy with the intention of completely forgetting my primary weapon and just killing them with my secondary. Example, the shotgun. I'll just run at a Scout, Demo, or even a Pyro, only my shotgun, and expect to come out on top. Or I fire one shot from my primary, probably miss, and abandon all hope in me hitting any shots with said primary and putting it all on my secondary weapon. This is not a good mentality to use when running a secondary weapon. A secondary weapon is designed to help the class you're playing to stay in the fight longer and keep dealing damage, albeit less than their primary. I just take that idea and crank it up to the extreme, only using my secondary in interactions, and just getting frustrated. I seem to have the most success with a secondary when pulling off combos, or using it after I've completely unloaded the entirety of my clip with whatever primary I'm using, and now I have to reload. Secondaries for me, they're just a mental roadblock, at least for me personally, and I don't think any other player has this. I think this might just be a me thing. There is one class, however, that has given me the most trouble, and the mentality that I mentioned earlier greatly affects my gameplay when playing this class. I would like you, the viewer, to take a guess. Which class do you think would give a player who has a hard time using 2 damage-dealing secondaries, such as myself, a hard time? Go ahead. Take a guess. I'll wait. If you guessed Pyro, you were incorrect. If you guessed Demo Man, on the other hand, the class with one of the most powerful damage-dealing techniques in the game, Sticky Spam, you would be correct. A class with essentially 2 primary weapons fries my brain to a crispy chicken tender. I have accumulated quite a lot of time playing Demo Man, but not stock demo. No. I would say that 60% of the time is Hybrid Knight, 20% of the time is full Demo Knight, and 50% of the time is Sticky's only Demo Knight with the booties, or the booties and the bootlegger. Those are the same thing. You know what I mean. And that last 5% is Demo Knight. It's stock Demo Knight. I just get so confused on what to do when playing stock demo. Do I use pipes at this range where sticky spam is most effective? Or do I go in with my stickies and risk getting rushed down? And by the time I've gotten halfway through that thought, I'm already dead to a scout, spy, or sniper who shot me from, all the way in their spawn. It is a mental roadblock that I have to get by in order to play these classes to the most effective they can be. Now, what if I told you everything that I just said about having a hard time playing Demo Man and a hard time using secondary weapons was only relevant about 50% of the time I played Team Fortress 2? There is a breed of TF2 players out there that I believe I fit in quite well. And that breed is the breed of inconsistent players. These players, half of the time, get completely cooked, but the other half of the time go 42-0 on the leaderboard. In my opinion, I am one of those players. Not the 42-0 thing, but the specifics don't necessarily matter, but it's the concept that does. The thing about inconsistent players is that their skill and effectiveness cannot be calculated or predicted before a match starts or even while the match is in progress. Their skill can shift on a dime. They could go from getting absolutely pummeled to hitting air shots every other interaction with the enemy team. Once again, these examples are for argument. I don't hit air shots. However, I don't want to be that kind of player. Being inconsistent is not a good thing. I want to stress that. Even though I may have painted it to be. Seriously, it's not a good thing, in my opinion. You could be killing it one match, and after one death, you get slung right out of the groove and keep beefing and beefing and beefing. This is me most of the time. And if I were to play in a competitive setting, boy, would I get cooked. My tiny little drumsticks wouldn't be able to handle it. So I have decided that I want to change that. After this video, I'm going to try my best to remove myself from the group of proclaimed inconsistent players and become more consistent. But the first step to success is motivation, and pumping myself up is something I am quite good at. Over this journey of improving, I will be recording my progress, and yes, that does mean I will attempt to stream more often. Things have been quite busy this summer, and I have issues with schedules sometimes, but I promise there will be more streams soon. Along the way, I will make more of these types of videos on topics I want to talk about, or to report on my progress of improvement. I encourage you to take this journey with me and try to improve as well, and continue to watch these videos. And the best way to stay updated on my newest content is to subscribe. It just takes one click, and you can always change your mind later and unsub. It really helps out the channel. Quite a lot. But I don't need to tell you that. You already know that. Something you probably didn't know is that 68.2% of my viewers are not subscribed. That's pretty cringe, bro. Not gonna lie. Y'all better subscribe!